Ken, Minnesota. You're on the Wilkow Majority. Hello. Ken.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm calling. I'm a liberal. I like listening to the other side once in a while, but one thing that's been bothering me is this conservative mantra about big government. And in fact, it's business, the history of businesses that's responsible for our big government.
No, that's not true.
And greed of those businesses.
But since when is greed? What is this? No, hold on. What is this notion of greed? That the government is here to regulate greed?
Examples. Well, let me give you a few examples. Why was the EPA created?
I don't know. You have to ask Richard Nixon.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because businesses were polluting our environment to the point of disrepair. So something had to be done.
Well, first of all,
and create regulation.
We've been hearing these horror stories about the environment for 40 years. Every 10 years, they tell us we have another 10 years. And if you're let's say you're talking about. Hold on. You spoke. Now I'm going to speak. Now let's say you're talking about steel production in Pittsburgh, in polluting the Allegheny River. Whose job is it to regulate? The state of Pennsylvania or the federal government?
Sir, you're jumping on one thing.
No, I'm not. You said that we needed a federal agency to regulate the pollution in the individual states. I'm pointing out to you that the federal government doesn't have the power to have such an agency, that the states would have such an agency.
Either or.
No either or, sir. There's a difference.
I'm complaining about the mantra that, big government, big government, big government. Why did we have to create the Consumer Safety Board?
Again, states. Again, the states.
I don't care if it's the states or the feds.
Well, no, sir, stop it with the you don't care. The Constitution provides certain powers to the federal government and powers to the state governments. Who does it? You can't just say that. I mean, you can, but that sounds ridiculous that you don't care which one does it. So then what the hell do we have a Constitution for, sir? What do we have it for?
Well, listen, I'm in Minnesota, and Minnesota has its own OSHA. So what's the difference if it's a state OSHA or a federal OSHA?
Because the federal government doesn't have the power to create an OSHA.
So the state did. It's still big government.
That's right. See, now, this is what you don't understand, Ken. If Minnesota has a big government, all the Minnesotans that don't like the Minnesota government can move to Wisconsin.
Again, you're missing my point.
No, I understand your point perfectly. You simply don't understand. Ken, you simply don't understand the construct of our federal government. You think the federal government can do whatever it wants, whenever it wants, for whatever purpose it wants to do it for.
You're not on the same page as me.
I'm exactly on the same page. You think there's no distinguishing between the state government and the federal government, and there is.
My argument is that big business is the result of these government agencies. Big business and their greed.
What is this thing? Define greed for me?
Greed? Exorbitant profits, putting people at risk so that the owners can line their pockets. So if I own a business, greed is demanding something that's not yours. Yeah, the skin off of a man's back.
Then don't work, Ken. If I am an evil factory owner and you don't like the wages,
and there's been plenty.
Okay, if I'm evil factory owner, I'm Andrew Carnegie, and you're Ken, the wannabe steel worker. If you don't like Carnegie Steel, don't work for me. That's what makes you.
It doesn't work like that, sir.
Ken. That's exactly how it works. Okay. Ken. Okay. Ken. Goodbye. Thank you for the call. You're wasting my time, and time is money. If I am Andrew Carnegie and you are a steel worker, and you don't like the terms of employment at Carnegie Steel, I am a free man. You are a free man. We can go our separate free ways. Your needs as an employee do not outweigh my rights as an employer. I'm a human, you're a human. The needs of the recipient don't outweigh the rights of the provider. I don't owe you a job. You are working voluntarily. The terms of your employment are set by me, the employer. If you wish to have different terms, you find another employer. That's how it works, whether you like it or not. The skin of I can't make you give the skin off your back to me. That would make you a slave, which would mean your labor is provided to me involuntarily. If you come to me and say, Mr. Carnegie, I saw a help wanted sign in your steel mill. I really need a job. I say, fill out this little piece of paper asking me for a job. Ken, you look like a fine young man. You may have a job in my steel mill. All of that was voluntary action on your behalf. If I showed up with a bunch of Pinkertons who are armed and said, guess what, Ken? You're going to be in my steel mill from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 6 days a week. That's slavery. 1-866-95-PATRIOT. These are things these people simply do not understand.